academic search engines or scholarly search engines. What do you mean by search engine? What do you mean by search engine? Search engine is like an inquiry counter where you are going and asking for a particular matter, then they will direct us to the source of it. In the same way, we have to search not in simple Googling, but we have to search on academic search engines or scholarly search engines. What I will give you some examples of academic search engines in which you can search for writing your paper or paper or assignment in future. I will give you the list of certain search engines. See, first one you all know, that is Google Scholar. Google Scholar is an academic search engine where you will get academic information in specific. If you are simply searching on Google, it will give us a lot of results. But Google Scholar is exactly for academic purpose. It will provide us with the journals. It will provide us with the full text journal or the abstract of journals or some bibliographies where we can search for. This is a specialty of Google Scholar. This is an academic database. If you are searching for something, for example, in stress and COVID, suppose you are searching for stress and COVID, see, they will give us the articles, the list of articles. Here you can filter. Since 2020, that was the articles that were published in this year, last year, or from 26 onwards. So at the right side of it, you have got the PDF. When you are clicking on it, they will give us with the full text of that particular article. This is a Google Scholar search engine. Another one is Microsoft Academic. Microsoft Academic is the counterpart of Google Scholar given by the Microsoft Corporation. I will just show the interface of Microsoft Academic. Microsoft Academic also gives us with scholarly content alone. See, these are the publications included, these are the authors, topics, conferences, journals, etc. Here you can give the keyword for search. It will provide us with, for example, let us search economic prices in India and just forward. Just we write forward. It will provide us with certain results. See, these are the results we are getting from this. It starts from articles from 1924 to 2020, the latest ones. By clicking onto it, you can directly go to the article, full text article. Okay, this is the Microsoft Academic search engine. It's search engine, not database. It's search engine, academic search engine. And there is another one. The third one I'm doing just some examples only. This is Base. This is another search engine. Then for the academic search engine. Here also you will get scholarly content. Here we have got advanced research. I will tell you about advanced search in future. See, here we can filter the information. You need not give a particular, if you are giving a particular one, you can filter it. If it is from, you want only ebooks, click on to it, that will provide us with only ebook. Then open access resources, you are looking only for open access resources, this will provide you with that. So this is an advanced research. It's very sophisticated one. This is Base. This is also an academic search engine. Then another one. This is Core. This is another one. This is the world's largest collection of open access research papers. This is a search engine that will provide us, provide exclusively with open access resources, open access journals, open access books, open access videos, etc. It is especially dedicated for providing us with the open access content. That is Core. And another one is that Semantic Scholar. It is a website website says it search over 60 databases. It gives materials from 60 databases. See, you can search this much of papers from all fields of science. So this is another this is another search engine, Semantic Scholar. Then another one is there, science.gov. This is science.gov. It is owned by the US Federal Science Agency, and we can search on it. It provides mainly with the science subjects. Then moving on to another search engine, Worldwide Science. It is a global science gateway comprised of national and international scientific databases and portals. Here also you can search. Okay, this is worldscience.org. Then another one, RefSig. It is a web search engine for students and researchers that aims to make academic information easily accessible to everyone. This is also an academic search engine where you can search for scholarly content alone, scholarly content exclusively. Then another one, that is ERIC, Institute of Education Sciences. It's an online library of education research and information sponsored by the Institute of Education Sciences of the US Department of Education. It is a government-owned search engine for scholarly content. Okay, we shall go to the next one. Infotopia. It describes itself as a Google alternative safe search engine. This is also an academic search engine. The academic search engine puts on this, these all are this. And another one, ResearchGate. ResearchGate, you all may know, I think. It is more than a search engine. It is like a common forum for researchers, where the researchers can share their research, ask others for papers and all. You have to join here. It is joining is for free, and you have to contribute your papers. Then you can get access to the papers written by others also. It is more than a search engine. It's not actually an academic search engine. More than that, it is a common platform of researchers where researchers comes together and share their ideas and all. So another, so these are all the examples. These are some examples of main academic search engines. Then when we are searching in this academic search engines as well as databases, we need to follow certain techniques. When we are searching in academic search engines as well as databases, what is the difference between an academic search engine and an academic database? What would be the difference between an academic search engine and an academic database? See, as I have already mentioned, search engine means an inquiry counter. When you are approaching an inquiry counter, they will direct us to particular places where we will get what we asked for. They will direct us to certain places. We won't get what we needed from that inquiry counter. Instead, they will direct us to the sources where we will get what we desire. But in the case of academic databases are like grocery shops. So you go there and take what you need from this grocery shops or any kind of shops. You just go there and take what you need. That is the difference between a search engine and a database. In a search engine, it directs you to the source, whereas the database provides you with the source. That is the difference between database and search engines. So in order to search in these both, we have to have we have to use certain techniques. I will show you a video. It's a 3-minute long video, hardly 3 minutes long video. Just listen to it, just watch it. Then we will go for further details. These are the basic things you need to understand.
They don't call it research for nothing. Finding high quality material on a topic is tough, and one major hurdle can be coming up with the right search terms. But here's the good news. If you can improve your technique in this area, your future research projects will be that much easier. This video tutorial will equip you with 3 techniques to get off to a good start and improve your search results. 1. Determine the key concepts. 2. Try synonyms. 3. Use one source to lead you to more. When looking for books and articles for your paper, you may end up using all sorts of different databases and research tools. Most of them work on the same basic principles, though. You need to speak their language in order to get the best results. A research database thinks like a computer, not like a person, so it does not perform as well with phrases using everyday speech. Let's say your research topic is, what is the role of exercise in heart health? You may be tempted to put that whole sentence in search box. Don't do it. Sure, you may get some results, but this is not speaking the language of the database. Instead, determine the key concepts in your topic. This means dropping terms such as role, relevance, effect, influence, advantages, representation. These words or phrases are not key to your topic and will actually get in the way. Really, your key concepts in this first example are exercise and heart health. Searching using these terms will produce better results. Or with this example, discuss the representation of women in Shakespeare's Macbeth. The concepts here are women, Shakespeare, and Macbeth. If you seem to be getting too few results, or results that are not at all relevant, try thinking of synonyms for your key concepts. Think about how an expert in the field might discuss your topic. For example, a scientist might say cardiovascular instead of heart health. If you're stumped, try a thesaurus for some more ideas. If you're really not getting any results, try and think of a word that expresses your concept in more general terms. For example, a literary scholar might say gender instead of women. Or if you're struggling to find information about the elementary school education in the city of Chicago, try the state of Illinois. Try your search again and see what you come up with. As you've seen so far, this stage of the research process is all experimenting, tweaking, and giving it another go. Allow yourself some time for this trial and error stage. It's worth it. Have you found at least one awesome article or book? Take a break from your research process and give it a closer look. Look at the abstract or introduction. Is there new terminology in there that you could use in future research? Flip to the bibliography or works cited at the end. This can be a great source for other books and articles on the topic. In fact, this is how your professors do it. For more information on finding an article and you've got the reference, check out our video on the citation point. If you're looking at an item in a database, look for a listing of the subjects or keywords. These are usually clickable and might send you to a whole new list of possibly relevant materials. This is really learning to speak the language of the database. There you have it. With these 3 techniques in hand, you'll be off to a much stronger start with your research. And remember, you can always ask us for help.
Are the basic techniques you have to follow when you start searching in academic databases as well as academic search engines. Okay, then we go on to certain other techniques which we can use in searching. First one is Boolean logic. When you are entering key terms, we have seen in the video that we have to enter the key, we have to identify the key terms, then we have to enter the key terms. See, when we are entering key terms, we can insert Boolean operators to get better results. When we are entering the keywords, we can use Boolean operators to get better results. There are 3 types of Boolean operators. First one is AND, then OR, then NOT. What is the purpose of inserting AND between the key terms? AND combines search terms so that each search result contains all of the terms. And combines search terms so that each search result contains all of the terms. For example, you want to know about how to travel in Europe. So what are the key terms? How to travel in Europe, or the importance of traveling in Europe, or the guide to travel in Europe. So what are the key terms? Key terms are travel and Europe. So when you are entering these 2 terms, you have to get the results that shows both these key terms, both travel and Europe. That is your output. Your search result should contain both travel and Europe. Then what will you do? You will put this Boolean operator and in between them, travel and Europe. Then you will get results that contains both travel and Europe. And the second Boolean operator is OR. It combines search terms so that each search result contains at least one of the terms. For example, you are searching about college or university. You need to know only about either college or university. Then you can insert college in capital letters or university. Then in the search results will contain either college or university. That is important. That is the specialty of the Boolean operator or. Then there is another one, not. Not actually excludes terms so that each search result does not contain any of the terms that follow it. For example, television, we have television and the cable television. So you need to omit this. When you are searching for cable television, naturally this cable television also will come up. So what do you want to do? You need to omit this cable. So how will you enter it? Television in capital letters, not, then cable TV. So then in the search result, the cable television will not be visible or will not be present. That is the importance of a not Boolean operator. So, and use and if you want to narrow a search so that all words appear in your result. Example is exercise and health. The result will have both the exercise and health. Then or if you want to expand a search so that any one of your words appear in your results, salary or income. So the results will have either salary or results in the. Then not. Use not when you want to narrow a search by excluding a word in your results. So bears, not greasy. Okay, I think you have understood it. Then there is another technique, that is using truncation. Truncation means, so there are certain terms. If you are entering only government, the results will contain only the words that is government. Suppose if you want to include the in the search results governments or governmental, etc., you have to add an asterisk sign. So the search result will produce us with the keywords that include governments and governmental. Same is the case of promote. If you want to have the results of promote, promoting, promoted, etc., you have to put truncation, that is promote, and then an asterisk sign is to be included in the search box. That is called a truncation. It helps you search for a word that has multiple endings. If a word has got multiple endings, you have to include truncation. That is an asterisk sign at the end of the word. Then another one is wildcard symbols. Wildcard symbols are of two types. There are two types of wildcard symbols. First one is asterisk wildcard. It is used between words where variations may be possible. So responsibility, budgeting. It can return results such as responsibility centered budgeting or responsibility centered budgeting. See, if you are just entering responsibility and budgeting, it will provide us with only result that contains these two terms. So if you want to include some other terms in between, put an asterisk sign in between that, it will give us results with the responsibility centered budgeting or responsibility centered budgeting. The second wildcard symbol is question mark wildcard. It is used to replace an unknown character. For example, women or women, women or woman. Instead of that E, place WO and question mark, then N. Will return results of both women and women. Also search for color. The color has got two types of spellings in American English and British English. So you want to include both this. You want to get the results of both this. Then you will include a question mark in between. COLO question mark R. It will return both color and colors in your results. Then there is one called nesting. If a topic will have a different variations, like we need to, there are certain topics that have got different variations, like a teenager. Teenager can be said as youth, teens, young adults, etc. Also, another example is higher education. Higher education can be said as post-secondary education, college education, university education, etc. Suppose you want to include all these things in your search. What will you do? You will do searching. Sorry, nesting. Nesting is used to combine all these key terms in your search. For this, nesting uses parentheses, that is brackets, to keep concepts that are alike. These concepts are to be put alike and given for search. So example is given. If you want to search for teenage depression, what will you do? In your results, you want to include not only this particular teenage, but also you have to include youth, teens, young adults, etc. So what will you do? You will put in brackets and include a Boolean operator, teenager or teen or adolescent or youth or young adult. So the results will have all these elements, either of these elements in connection with the depression. And then close the bracket, put an and, that is also another Boolean operator, then depression. Okay, I think you got the this one. Another one is phrase searching. See, in this one, young adult. In young adult, we have written it in quotation marks. Why? It is a phrase. If you want to search for a phrase together, we need to have a specific quotation marks above that. That is phrase searching. These are the major basics techniques that you are using in search engines and as well as academic search engines as well as academic databases. Then I think we can go to research database, open accessible research databases. These are all about search techniques. Today we have seen at first what are the search techniques. Then we have seen this academic search engines. There's some examples of academic search engines. Then we have seen some techniques which are to be used in exclusively in academic search engines as well as academic databases. Okay, now we are going to see some major academic databases that provides us with solid content, solid scholarly material. And the most accessible one in this regard is the NLIST database. I'm sharing this screen. I think you can see this. This is a consortium. NLIST is a consortium. It provides us with a group of databases. NLIST is a consortium that provides us with a group of databases. And it is accessible in our college. That is why I am telling about this at first. This is a database consortium. In a sense, it's a database consortium. It provides us with a different database that provides journals as well as electronic books. So how to enter into this? You will get a password, a user ID and password from the NLIST administrator of your college. Just inquire who is the NLIST administrator of your college and ask him from that administrator. You will get a user ID and password. And using that user ID and password, enter, login. Now you are in the NLIST consortium. This NLIST consists of this much of databases. These databases provides us with the e-journals and these databases provides us with the electronic books, free electronic books. I will just show you some of the major databases from where you can get resources. First one is Indian journals. See, this is a Indian journals database. This is a database that provides us with the journal content, full text journals. We will get full text journals from this particular database that is included in the NLIST consortium. These are the Boolean operators and or not. Using this, you can search in the search boxes with keywords. That's why I said these techniques are used mainly in academic databases and academic search engines. Okay, here we can select the fields, topic, author, publication, city of publication, etc. Okay, let that be there. Come to the bottom of this. This particular database consists of 341 journals in 24 subjects. This particular database consists of 341 journals in 24 subjects. First, we shall look on to the subject. Subjects are arranged in alphabetical order. For example, we will go in business, economics and management, there are 56 journals. And in commerce, banking and finance, there are 6 journals. Just we shall look on to the first one, business, economics and management. In this subject, there are 56 journals. See, name of the journals are given here. Together with that, you can see archive available. There is a tag called archive available. That means together with the current issue of this particular journal, they provide us with the back issues of the same. And here it is said as UGC approved. So this particular journal is approved by the UGC. It is in the UGC care list, or it is included in the UGC care list. Let us take one of a focus journal of no, this one, IMS Journal of Management Science. It has got a archival access. That is why I chose that. This is the current issue. If you click on to that, it provides us with the articles in the current issue. These are the articles that is present in the current issue. This current issue is a 2020 volume 11 issue 1 January April. So we shall select one. I want to read this article. Click on to that. It gives the details, citation details, then abstract, then there is a tag called the PDF. This is the full text journal. You can read it and you can download it. Here you can download it. Clicking onto this, you can download it. This is a full text journal. Okay. We shall move back. See, this is the page. Here we have the current issue, archive issues. Archive issues means back volumes of the same. See, from 2010 onwards they have given. If I want to read something from 2009, there are 2 issues. I can select any one of this and read the article contained in this. Then there are author guidelines. Author guidelines are for submitting our own articles to this particular journal. So we need to read the author guidelines, and as per the author guidelines, prepare an article and submit here. Click onto this, and there is an option to upload your article and submit here. This is it. Let's move on to the first page. Okay. Then there is, we can look the journals as per the alphabetical order. Okay, here are the journals list. We shall go to the next one. And another one is JSTOR. JSTOR is also an international search database. If you want to purchase it, it costs a lot, but Enlist provides us through their consortium. So here also we can search something. What do we need to search? Suppose marketing. It provides us with the articles. Here also you have got filters. If you want specifically search on journal, click on to that. Then the publication place from this year to this year. If you want from a specific year to that specific year, enter the year out there. Then you can specific on the directly go to the subject area, select this. So these are the filters. From here you can download the PDF of each articles. This is the database, JSTOR database. Then coming to your economic and political weekly, usually we are subscribing it. You can get the e-content of the same from this one. Then Oxford University Press provides both electronic journals as well as electronic books. Okay. This H.H. Wilson means EBSCOhost database. EBSCOhost database also provides us with the electronic journals as well as electronic books. Then Cambridge University Press also gives us with the electronic journals. Then here are the databases that provides us with the electronic books. So I think I don't have to go to each and every one of this. It's already known. You may just go on searching in this. You will get a lot of results. This is a course. Click onto this, then you will get the results. So these are the databases provided by Enlist, and it is freely accessible. You just need to go to your college Enlist administrator. He or she will provide you with the user ID and password, and using that user ID and password, just click search Enlist or enlist.inflignet.ac.in. Then it will directly lead you to this website, and there is a login option, and here there is a login option here, and using this you can log on to this search engine. There is another one called EPG Padashala at the bottom of it. EPG Padashala provides us with course content. If you want to search the PG or UG level course content of your subject, you can get it from this EPG Padashala. See, here are the subjects. For example, take the commerce subject. Here you have the purpose in the commerce. For example, take accounting theory and practice. Then there are the modules. These are the modules included in this particular paper. Select any one of this: accounting theory, nature, and scope. See, they give the PDF of it. It will take some time to come. Here you can see the PDF version of the note. From here you can download the note. Okay. Here you can download the note and use it for your purpose. And these notes are prepared by famous scholars from our country. So these are the most authentic notes. You can find it in the government websites and all. Okay. This is EPG Padashala. This is also a venture of the MHRD of Government of India. Enlist is also a venture of the MHRD of the Government of India. Okay, this is all about Enlist resources. And there are a lot of open accessible journals and open accessible books in the internet. I shall show you a place where you can access it. I have created a portal in our college. That is, it's titled as assumptionportal.com. This is a portal I have created in our college. That is assumptionportal.com. From this portal, you can have access to different websites that provide us with the open access electronic books. Click on to here. This is a list of open access electronic books. Each of these are links to their website, and from there you can get access to a lot of electronic books. There is a link to National Digital Library, then there is a link to PDF Drive, then there is a link to online books and online economic text. Let us come. This is National Digital Library. See, for example, if you want, you have to log in here, you have to register here and log in here. I will show an example. This is National Digital Library. Search on humanities for economics. So you want to have a video lecture on microeconomics, then you will go to another page. Here you can select the module. Law of supply and elastic supply. Here, see, here is a video of the tutorial. You can play it and listen to that. This is from National Digital Library. Okay. And this is online economics textbooks. From here, we can download these books. So like that, a lot of website that will provide you with a course and course of electronic books. Then another one is open access electronic journals. See, this is arranged in subject wise. For example, in commerce and management, if you click on this, these are the links to open access electronic journals. From each of this, you can go to the original website of this, and from there you can download open access electronic journals and articles. Okay. Then there are e-thesis. E-thesis is provided by different universities and different firms and all. There is one called Shodhaganga. Shodhaganga is owned by UGC. It is a national level reservoir of doctoral theses. All the theses that are produced in our country are uploaded in the Shodhaganga, and you can have access to them, including the PhD thesis of some of our teachers. That is Shodhaganga. And there are other ones. MGU thesis means here is the MGU thesis somewhere here. Okay, MGU thesis means they provide us with all the PhD theses that are presented in our university, MG University. And BUDI is the digital repository of Cochin University, CUSAT. Takes some time to upload. So this is the repository of e-theses. Then we have another one is government data. In this, it is important, open government data platform. So this is also a venture of a government of India. This provides us with statistical data of different aspects. We can search here. They will provide us with the statistical data. Okay, for regarding economy, gross domestic product, current price. So they will provide us with a graphical representation of the same. Since some error has happened, it's not coming. Okay, that is open government data. Then government portal, web portal of Government of Kerala, National Portal of India. National Portal of India provides with all the information regarding our nation. So I'm sorry, it's not coming. This is the reservoir of Indian theses. That is the tagline. The reservoir of Indian theses. All the PhD theses that are produced in our country are uploaded into this Shodhaganga, and we can download it from here. Just search here, for example, library science. If I am searching here, all the theses submitted, PhD theses submitted in the subject of library science will be listed, and we can have access to it. We can download it, we can read it, and we can use it. Okay, that is it. So these are the list of the theses that were submitted in this year, uploaded and submitted in this year. Okay, that is Shodhaganga. Then these are the government data. Then there is course contents. Course contents means I have already noted that EPG Padashala. eGyan Course is a website that provides us with the course notes of this Indira Gandhi Open University. And there is Vidyamitra. Vidyamitra is also a venture of MHRD. And another one is career websites are there. Government data. Oh, these are, I think, it's. Oh, okay. When there is an open online courses websites, these are the different websites that provide us with the massive open online courses. Coursera, you already know. edX, you already know. Khan Academy, you already know. These are some of the MOOC providers, massive open online course providers, and you can have access to SWAYAM from here. This is a direct access to Enlist, and you can have access to SWAYAM portal. SWAYAM is so this is a MOOC platform which is widely used in colleges around India. I think you all know about what is SWAYAM, so I'm not going specifically into that. So I think I can stop here. This is all what I wanted to just show you and tell you. Thank you for your patient listening. Over to the college.
The session is over. Sir, whether we can have access to this Assumption College portal?
Definitely. It's open to all. It's open to all. And if you have any queries or something, you can just contact me. I will just type my email address in the chat box. If you have any questions regarding this, you can contact me. I can provide with what all I know. Thank you very much. This NLIS is very usable. NLIS is very user friendly and usable. I request you all to have an account of it and have access to this. It's easily available, readily available, and freely available, user friendly at all. I don't know
if students can have any queries, you can now ask.
If you have anything to ask, you can just ask by unmuting, or you can type it on the chat box regarding referencing and all. See, referencing, you will get almost all the materials from this particular website. I mean, the apa.org. And if you want, you can buy this book also. This book also will provide you with the details. It's a bit costly. It costs around 1,650. There is no need of buying the whole book tell your department or a college library to buy some of the copies, and you can have access to them. Or simply you can go to the website and know the details. Okay, I think it's high time that we finish because we started almost an hour before and now it is 3:24. And thank you very much to Joy sir for inviting me, and it was a pleasure being with you. It is also a time for me to make some research and all. Thank you very much for your participation. Thank you very much for your cooperation.
Let me say
Respected resource person, respected Joy sir, and my dear participants, plagiarism is really hard, hard nut to crack. But, respected father, you have proved that it is easy to crack the nut through your session. Your session was really interesting, was really useful. On behalf of the coordinators, actually, the initiative was taken by the Department of Economics. We just participated or supported them. Let me take this opportunity to extend, on behalf of the organizers, our grateful thanks to our resource person, Reverend Father Tinjuvan. Thank you, our father. Thank you for your beautiful session, useful session. Thank you once again, Joy sir, for the initiative you have taken to organize a meeting like this. Actually, the session was attended by around 60 students from different segments: research scholars, MPhil scholars, students from commerce, economics departments, and some research scholars from outside St. Beckman's College. Let me take this opportunity to thank all the participants. I think we may organize this kind of programs in the coming future. Father, once again, thank you. Thank you, participants, for your active participation in the session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Minister.